What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Honda Civic Sport Hatchback. Huge thank you to Karl over at Safford Honda of Arlington, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Civic or any Honda product, I'll be sure to have Karl's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. First things first, I wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope you had a great year. I'm not sure if this video is going to go up before Christmas, on Christmas, or after Christmas, but I just wanted to wish you all well during the holiday season. But just like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. Like I said, this is a 2024 Honda Civic Sport Hatchback, and this particular one has been painted in the $455 Boost Blue, which in my opinion matches very nicely to the sports gloss black wheels and gloss black mirror caps. But this being the Sport, as standard, you get LED headlights with automatic high beams, as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and a black headlight bezel. That black headlight bezel adds to the sporty look of this trim level. Now, taking a step to the left, this is what the front end of the Sport looks like. So you may be able to tell, you do get a satin black hexagonal style front grille with the Honda logo located at the center. Now, stepping back just a little bit, you get satin black lower and outer grills, and you also get that satin black trim piece that connects your lower grille to your outer grills. And then it kind of looks like you have fog lights here. You can see that down in there, but the Sport does not get fog lights. If you wanted to get fog lights on a Civic, you would have to get the Sport Touring, as that is the only trim level that comes with fog lights. Here's a front three-quarter shot of this thing, and then working my way down the side. I really like the way that the stock Sport wheels look, and these are 18-inch gloss black wheels wrapped in two 35/40 Goodyear Eagle Sport all-season tires. That's a look at the wheel face. If you aren't a fan of these wheels, there is one other optional wheel, but in my opinion, I think the wheels that you get as standard look much better than the optional wheels. Again, that's my personal opinion. I'll throw what the optional wheels look like on screen right now. But then I also want to give you a view as best as I can of the tread pattern on those tires. And then towards the beginning of this video, I'd mentioned that you do get gloss black accents with the Sport. So with that in mind, you do get gloss black mirror caps. And as standard, these side view mirrors are power adjustable and manual folding. If you wanted blind spot monitoring, you would have to step up to the next trim level. But this is the side profile of the hatch. It's actually one of the better looking hatches on the market in my personal opinion. And I don't know if I'm partial to it because of the color, but I think it looks pretty sweet. But you do get satin black window trim. You also get body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind, the keyless access function is only on your front two door handles. The rear two door handles do not get that keyless access function. And then coming down all the way to the side, on your rocker panel, you may be able to see you do get a satin black side skirt that also adds to the sporty appearance of the Sport. Give you a view from the back of what that looks like. And then, this being the hatch, obviously, you do get that hatchback. That's what the rear three-quarter shot looks like. Up top here, you get a shark fin antenna that is body color. You also do get a capless filler neck behind here. 87 octane will do you just fine. Closing that back up, you do get a rear window defroster. Up top there is the washer, so it sprays some liquid on this rear glass. And then obviously you do get a rear wiper. And underneath your Honda logo, if you pull up on that, that is your pad to open up the manual hatch. Now, this is the amount of storage space that you have in here. Honestly, this is a very good amount of storage space considering the size of this. And you can also fold these second row seats flat. If you push on that, you can see you get an additional about 4 feet of storage space there. That one also does fold down as well. I'll show you a little profile from the side of the storage space with these seats down. That's what that looks like. And then closing this back up, underneath all of this stuff, well, obviously these are the standard carpeted floor mats, but if you pull up on this, this will reveal your spare tire, your jack, and so on and so forth. So you do get a spare tire. A lot of new vehicles seem to be coming without spare tires nowadays, and they're coming with like tire inflator kits, but this one does come with a spare tire. And then you also do get a halogen light on the passenger side of the trunk. Closing that back up, let's finish things off here at the rear end. You can see you get that chrome badging. You also do get LED combination taillights. Your backup camera is offset to the left of your Honda logo, right about there. And then you also do get 2 reflectors on the rear bumper. And last but not least, you do get a satin black lower valance. And that's kind of about it for the exterior of the 2024 Civic Sport. There is one package you could get to get like a rear wing and some other sporty elements, and that is the HPD package. But in my personal opinion, I think it looks better as is. It's kind of overstated with the HPD package, in my personal opinion. I think Honda did a good job, you know, as is, but that's just my personal opinion. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that makes 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. This one has been mated to the continuously variable transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 8.8 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 29 miles per gallon in the city, 37 miles per gallon on the highway for 32 miles per gallon combined with front-wheel drive. You can only get the Civic in front-wheel drive. However, you can get a 6-speed manual transmission if you're looking for a more engaging driving experience, or if you just don't like the CVT. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, if you've learned anything from the video thus far, please just take a second to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, as well as hit that subscribe button. The likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you do those 3 things. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and it will unlock. You can also lock it by running your finger across these 3 little hash marks right here, and now it is locked. Here's what the key fob looks like. On this side, you have your lock function, your unlock function, your remote start function, your hatch pop function, and your panic function at the bottom. In order to remote start this, you have to lock it first, press and hold on this button, and it will fire up. Give it a second. And that is what it sounds like when you fire this up from the exterior perspective. Now, with the Sport, you do get a black cloth interior, and you get some of that gray accenting going down the center of the seat. The seats themselves are also leather trimmed on the outsides. But taking a look at the door panel, you get some vinyl wrapping at the top. Then this piece is some satin black plastic. You get a satin chrome looking door handle. You have your power side view mirror controls, your unlock and your lock functions. This is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. You get automatic up and down windows in the front. You do not get automatic up or down windows in the back. You get a cloth armrest that's got some padding to it, some accent colored stitching, some storage space, a spot you could set a water bottle, and a speaker. You do get manually adjustable front seats, and then this is what these seats themselves look like. They're the seat controls. And now let's step on in to Papa Smurf and fire this thing up. So the vehicle is already on, but you still have to push your foot on the brake, push this to get access into everything else here on the interior. But I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna scoot forward just a little bit so we can get in the shade and you get a better view of what I'm walking you throughout. So now that we are in the shade, now I'm just gonna walk you throughout the entire interior. So coming down to here, this is your traction control off button. With the Sport, by the way, you do get these Sport pedals that look sweet. They got some aluminum with some rubber. They just look very sporty. And then if you click on this button right here, it brings you into this screen, which is essentially like your driver assistance screen. So you can either see your road departure mitigation stuff or your collision mitigation braking system, and you can check them on or off by just clicking on them by this little scroll knob right here. So I'm gonna go back into that, and I'm gonna turn that back on just for the time being. And then this is to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. It's basically like a scroll knob. You can see I'm adjusting the brightness of it. And then obviously you get an HVAC vent coming down to here. If I flip that down, that gives me access into my manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, so I can bring the steering wheel towards me. I can push it away from me, and I can also move it up and down until I find my comfortable position, and then I can just lock it right back into place. But now let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. It's kind of quiet. And not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your headlight control stock. So right now, this is headlights automatic. Flip up one like that, that is headlights off. Do that one more time, that is headlights automatic again. Then that is parking lights on. And then that is headlights in the always on position. Personally, for me, I would leave it in automatic because the vehicle does a good job at turning the lights on and off when need be. Now, you do get a leather-wrapped steering wheel. You also get a leather-wrapped shift knob, and just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the Civic. You also get steering wheel mounted paddle shifters with your downshift paddle on the left. You got your upshift paddle on the right. Now coming to this side of the steering wheel, this is to go forwards and or backwards on a track. Then this is your volume control, so you can volume up, you can volume down. This is going to switch you between your different audio sources. And then you can see this home button and this scroll knob. That is to control your partially digital gauge cluster. So from about right here to the left, all of this is like your digital screen. And then this is to speak to the vehicle. I'll walk through that here in a second. But for right now, I'm going to go over to this side of the steering wheel. And as standard with the Civic Sport, you do get adaptive cruise control, as well as the collision mitigation braking system, the lane keep assist. So basically these are like your driver assistance features, but this is mostly like your adaptive cruise control stuff, basically your settings. And then this is your windshield wiper control stock for the front windshield wipers. And with this being a hatch, you also do get a rear wiper. So this part is to control the rear wiper. You can see right now it is washing back there. And then obviously you get the push button, start button. But going into our digital gauge cluster, which is this side of the screen, this is your analog speedometer. Basically, this screen over here is digital, so this is your digital speedometer readout. Then this is letting us know what drive mode we are in. Right now we are in normal. This is the odometer. This is the transmission status stuff. This is basically that button that I just showed you. It's like your driver assistance features, letting you know that they are on. Then that is the ambient exterior temperature. You got your fuel gauge down at the bottom. And then this side of the screen is configurable. Right now it is the tachometer, as well as the current time and the auto stop start stuff. But again, you can scroll throughout this screen by just scrolling now. So I'm just scrolling down. You can see all of these different things here, but I'm gonna go into the home part of the screen, so you can go into customized display, or you can be on no content, which is basically displaying nothing, or you could bring it into your warning stuff. You can pop up your range and fuel stuff. You can bring up the speed and the time. And then you got your driver attention stuff. Basically, if you're like eyes are here like 90% of the time, it's gonna basically go to the coffee cup side, basically being like, hey man, you got to pay a little bit more attention because you're swerving all over the road. So basically, it's not reading your eyes, but if your eyes are over here, you're most likely drifting out of the lane, and it will sense, the more that you drift out of the lane and you're drifting through the lane, that is how it knows like if you needed coffee or if you're good to go. And then you can see like who's buckled, who's not buckled, maintenance stuff, safety support stuff, which I kind of walked you through already. So you can see those two features. I already walked you through that. Then you got your settings. You can customize the display, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's kind of about it for that. Up top here, the dash is all vinyl wrapped, and then coming down just a little bit, it's not picking up all that well on camera. I'm gonna try to find the shade again. See if there's the shade. That's where the shade is. So this is your 7-inch infotainment system, and you do get wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. I do believe you do have to get to the Sport Touring in order to get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. But really, I know this isn't picking up all that well on screen, but basically down here, you have your physical volume control knob. You have your tuning control knob, but you can also go throughout the screen with this knob here. But right now I just click to the right and it's switching between different songs. Then this is gonna pop up my phone stuff. This is gonna bring me into the radio, which is AM, FM, or yeah, just AM and FM. Then you got your media stuff, which is either Bluetooth audio or your USB cord. And then if I click right there, it's gonna bring me into like my phone connect stuff, basically connecting a phone to the screen. Then you get a back button, you get a menu button, and this is what the menu looks like. Again, you can either navigate throughout the screen with this right here, or you can navigate throughout the screen because the screen is touchscreen. So this is what the screen looks like. You can go into your sound settings, your Bluetooth settings. Basically sound settings are like the bass, treble, fader, balance, blah, blah, blah. This is your back button, brings you back into this screen. But yeah, that's kind of about it for the screen. This screen is very, very easy to use. Not really that much going on the screen. No navigation stuff. However, if you obviously did connect your phone with a USB cable and you did have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, then you can bring up your Waze, your Google Maps, so on and so forth on the screen. But other than that, all you see is the time. And no, this screen is not actually flashing like this, but due to the frame rate of the camera, that's why it looks like it's flashing. Then you get 2 HVAC vents. You get your what's it called, hazard button there. You get single zone climate control. So this is your temperature control knob. This is your fan speed control knob. And then this knob right here is to adjust which way the air is blowing, whether it's the defroster, your face, your feet. That is what that thing does there. Then you get your recirculation button and all of these other climate control functions. Passenger airbag on or off down there. You get a USB-A port. You get a 12-volt power outlet. You get a good amount of storage space up top here. You get 2 cup holders. Again, you do get a leather wrapped shift knob. And then this is your shifter. Coming down, this is your drive mode selector. So you have 3 different drive modes. You have sport mode, normal mode, and economical mode. I would probably leave it on normal mode for right now, normal driving. I think econ mode, like let's say it's 80 degrees outside, it messes with the air conditioning system, so it doesn't work as hard, doesn't use as much gas. So just keep that in mind. And then this is your auto stop start off function. You get an electronic parking brake with the Sport. Right now the parking brake is engaged. You can see it's lit up in red. If you wanted to disengage it, you'd have to push your foot on the brake, push against that, and then that will disengage the parking brake. However, let's go into the parking brake, right? And then let's go into drive. And let's give it a little bit of gas. Okay, no, it does not release itself, so you do have to release that yourself. And then you get your brake hold function here if you're tired of holding your foot down on the brake while you're stuck in traffic. If you pressed that button right there, the vehicle will hold you in place by itself with its braking system. Then you get a cloth armrest that is nicely padded with some stitching. And then down in here, all it is storage space. I apologize. Let me clean it up just a little bit. All it is storage space. You probably get, you know, maybe 8 to 12 inches of depth, and then about, you know, 8 to 12 inches of whatever this length is this way. But then you get this divider here. You can either set there or there. I'm going to leave it there. And that's it for down in there. Coming over to our glove box, it is not lockable, and you get a decent amount of storage space in the glove box. Right now it's got the owner's manual and that kind of stuff, but you can still fit your napkins, your straws. Just be mindful of the storage space because it's not the biggest glove box that I've seen. Standard rear view mirror. Driver gets a light that's LED. Passenger also gets a light that is LED. And then coming up to here, you get a vanity mirror with no vanity light. I can also open this thing up and this will slide backwards, so when the sun is in those awkward positions, the visor does move. Now the driver does get a no poop handle, which I'll try to pick up better on camera. The passenger also gets a no poop handle. And that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in these front seats. So a couple features I wanted to highlight that this vehicle has that you get with the Sport. You get the Sport pedals, you get the 8-speaker sound system, whereas the trim level below this has a 4-speaker sound system. And then also you do get adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation, braking, lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, traffic jam assist, so on and so forth. Now I'm gonna throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look at the one option that this vehicle has, which is the Papa Smurf paint color, and then take a look at everything else that you get as standard. But basically, I'm just gonna highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Honda Civic Sport Hatchback is spec'd is $27,900. I think that's a pretty good deal considering what you get. It's very comfortable. I think it looks great. You get LED lighting, and it also just is a great drive, and it's going to be reliable for the long term. It's very basic, which is a good thing. But let's see what we got going on here in the rear seats before moving into the driving portion of the video. So this is what the rear door panel looks like. You get a little bit of storage space down in there. Again, the window does go to about right there, but it is not automatic up or down. Then you get a speaker there, a speaker a little bit lower. This is what these rear seats look like. You do get some leather accenting, let's say, on the rear seats. Sitting behind myself, these seats are very comfortable, very nicely padded seats in the rear. You also do get a dome light up top there that is also LED. I get a no poop handle, a spot I can set my dry cleaning. You do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You do not get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. And on this side, you only get an poop handle. You do not get a spot you can set your dry cleaning. I am 5'9" and I am adjusted behind myself. I've actually got plenty of knee and leg room. I can extend my legs further than I would expect to be able to in a sedan like this, or a hatchback, excuse me, like this. And then when it comes to leg and knee room, here's another view. And then headroom, I am 5'9", like I mentioned, and I have probably about an inch and a half of headroom left over. However, if I slouch a little bit more, you can, find a little bit more headroom if you do end up slouching. But, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now onto the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. While this isn't the fastest thing in the world, really, when you're driving it around town, you can't really tell, that it doesn't have the most power, because you're not really going to be flooring it going around town, at least I would think. Maybe if you were a Nissan Altima driver converting to a Civic driver, then you might be flooring it around everywhere. And it's funny, sorry to go on a tangent, but I, saw some Nissan Altima driver like memes the other day, and then I saw like literally that same few days I saw Nissan Altima drivers just being Nissan Altima drivers, and it was hilarious. But anyway, back to what I was saying. One thing I really like about pretty much all new Hondas is that they don't have like the windshield washers that spray what the heck is that guy doing? That was kind of random. They don't spray everywhere. They actually just spray like out of the windshield wipers themselves. You see that? So it's not going everywhere. I kind of like that because it doesn't go, let's say you had a sunroof, it's not gonna like spray inside here. Not that this has a sunroof, but anyways, let's go into sport mode here. Click up 1, 2, and now here's a little sport mode action. So basically, right off the bat, I noticed with sport mode that the throttle response is sharper. Obviously, that's pretty much what sport mode does. Here's another acceleration. So yeah, I mean, this thing's got enough get up for around town and stuff like that. And even on the highway, this thing doesn't weigh a whole lot. So the power is enough to get it up and going. I know an 8.8 seconds 0 to 60, isn't amazing, but it's good enough, and it'll get the job done. And plus, because it's not the fastest thing in the world, it gets very good fuel economy, which is important to a lot of buyers. Here's another acceleration, just normal. And it's CVTs are so interesting because basically when you're giving it gas, it just stays at the same RPM and just keeps accelerating. So it's very interesting if you've never driven a CVT before. Now, like I said earlier in the video, if you, number one, are not a fan of a CVT, or you just want a more engaging driving experience, the Civic Hatch or sedan, I do believe as well, they still offer a 6-speed manual transmission option. So if you want the manual with the Civic Sport, you can get it. Here's another acceleration. Harder, floored. About to 35 miles an hour. Quick enough, if you had to do a quick acceleration because you accidentally pulled out in front of somebody, it does have the acceleration to get up out of its own way. You may have seen that police officer there, hence why I slowed down. Just kidding, I would have slowed down anyway. I wouldn't have gone past 40, but Here, I'll do another little acceleration. Let's say you had to pass somebody because they were going slow as heck, going about 19, and you wanted to floor past them. It's about 42 miles an hour right there. So it's got like power. Like, it really does not feel anemic. It's just not going to be the fastest thing that you've ever driven. Maybe you've driven slow cars your whole life, and maybe it is the fastest thing you've ever driven, or maybe you've never driven before, then it might be the fastest thing you've driven. But, you know, it's got enough power, it's got enough kick, and plus with the, I'm going to throw it back into, because right now we're in sport mode, so it keeps that at a higher RPM. I'm going to put it back into normal mode. You will notice that the RPMs will drop just cruising to save a little bit more fuel. See, before it was at about 2,000 RPM while I was just cruising. Now it's at about 1,100, 1,200 RPM. But now going past that, the standard sound system with the Sport is actually pretty dang decent. I was surprised actually by how good it sounded. And that is one thing, like the trim level below this, I cannot remember. I think it's the EX. It does not have an 8-speaker sound system. It has a 4-speaker sound system. So if you want a better sound system, you want a better look, then you're going to want to get the Sport over that trim level, because number one, these wheels look awesome, and I definitely would get the Sport just because of these wheels. And that's not the only thing that you get with the Sport. Again, you get the 8-speaker sound system, but you also get a few more colorful options with the Sport. Like, you can get a red, you can get a blue, and you know, a couple other colors that I'll show you on screen now. Whereas compared to the trim level Durango SRT, compared to the trim level below this, you only get like the grays, the whites, the blacks, you know, the boring stuff. Whereas if you want a little bit more of, you know, vibrance when it comes to the exterior color, then you're going to want to look into getting the Sport, because the Sport gives you the option to get a few more colors that are more fun. So that's another thing that you get with the Sport. And then also you get the gloss black mirror caps as well, and the option of getting the HPD package, which I don't think is worth it, and I wouldn't get it myself. But here's an acceleration. And then if this Civic, you know, just doesn't have enough power for you, you test drove it, which I think it's got enough power. You know, as a daily driver, you don't really need much more than this. But if you do want a little bit more power, then you might want to look into getting the trim level above this and or the Sport Touring, because those two get a 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, 1.5 liter turbo engine, whereas this one gets just the 2 liter naturally aspirated engine. Again, I think this has enough power for daily driving, but the seats, very comfortable. Sound system is pretty good. If you want a better sound system, you would have to get the Sport Touring to get to the Bose sound system. But overall, it's got enough power. It's very comfortable, and it's just would make for a great daily driver. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from this video, please just take a second to give the video a thumbs up, to leave a comment in the comment section down below, as well as hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it, but only do that stuff if you actually enjoyed the video. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.